In this video, I'm going to show you how to cast on stitches using the backwards loop method. Now this is a method that only uses one string instead of the long tail cast on, which uses two. And one thing you should know is that there are many different ways to cast on. This is one of my favorite ways to cast on stitches when I'm in the middle of working on something. So I'm going to go ahead and get to the spot where I'm going to cast on my stitches, and let's just say, for example, that that's here, that I've made it and I'm at the spot where I'm going to cast them on. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a loop in my yarn like this, and I'm going to slide it onto my needle and tighten it, and that's my first stitch. And then I'm going to make another loop, and you just hold the yarn, fold it over like that, slip it on the needle. That's two. Make a little twist in the yarn, 3 stitches. Now, and then you can also do it faster. Just as many as the pattern requires. Just cast those stitches on. And all I'm doing is just the same thing. I'm just twisting the yarn, making a loop, and putting it on. I'm just doing it a little bit faster, because you might be using this a lot. You might need to cast on a lot of stitches like this, so I'm not really counting right here. It's just an example. Now, one of the trickiest parts with the backwards loop method is actually knitting them, because as you can see, as easy as they were to cast on, that's just how easy they come right back off my needles, right? So the way that you would knit these is just come in through the bottom and work them, and they'll stay. Now you'll get this little extra stretch right here. Don't worry about that. That will not be noticeable, and it'll work itself right in with no problem. It won't give you a problem. So you just kind of knit them through the bottom so that they don't come undone. And here you have your perfectly cast on stitches, and you can see that there's not a ton of yarn between them or anything, no holes or anything, but here's that stretchy little span of yarn, which freaks some people out at first, and they think, oh my gosh, am I doing something wrong? Did I drop a stitch? But they definitely didn't. It's just part of how things get cast on. And what you want to avoid when you're knitting these the first time, you want to avoid actually accidentally dropping a stitch in the middle of your work, because then you know you dropped a stitch, because you have about 2 inches of yarn right there between your first and second, and that's not going to go away. But one thing you can do is you can go switch your needles back to the front and back and put that stitch right back on and keep working if that does happen to you. And like I said, actually knitting the stitches is the hardest part, so that's how you do it. Let me just get to the end here. And now I'm back to my ordinary stitches, which are purl stitches, and there we have it. I cast on all these stitches and knitted them, and they seamlessly turn right into my knitting, just like that.